endorsed, ICPO. Again, this is sort of an example of this deal that we were working. This is the LC application by Buck Rogers. Again, it was filled out, and then the bank had issued it to formal to Miller directly there. But again, the application is pretty straightforward, simple. Depending on your customer or the supplier, again, many cases it might be a spot basis there. And really that's a waste of time, but it helps fill in some idle time once in a while. But really what you're looking for is regular business. A customer who will buy from you ongoing. You do all this work, why not make it ongoing instead of a one-time deal? So if it is, often you enter into a contract and the buyer makes a commitment to the supplier that I'll buy this much every quarter, every month, or what have you there. And again, this is sort of a standard contract. The last thing here to keep in mind, how do you get paid? Everybody wants to get paid up front. They want a referral fee or a retainer. In international trade, it doesn't happen until you get results, meaning you give them a real buyer who has the funding, or you get a real supplier who has a factory, then they'll pay you for your work. But if all you do is give them some names, shuffle a little bit of documents, you're not going to get paid until he actually gets his product or he gets paid. I don't mean to say he, but in general, you won't get paid until the deal closes or it's consummated. So now it's sort of agreed to in advance what commission or pay the structure they're going to give you once you meet their requirement there. But you don't get enter any legal contract other than the NCND agreement until the very end. Until the product's actually loaded, until the LC is cashed in, you're not going to get paid. Only at this stage, and you normally designate what we call a paymaster, someone who's responsible for paying out the different brokers or intermediaries. In most cases, it's usually the seller or the seller's mandate who's responsible, or the one who's undertaken the LC. They're the one who is the paymaster to issue out all the commissions. So it's clearly written in here. It's a guarantee to these guys who are involved of the deal who would get paid out. But you don't even discuss this, and you don't even ask the seller to sign off on something like this until a deal really contracts actually signed, or you see an LC actually opened up. I apologize for running behind here, but the last part here, and then we'll take a short break here, is on exclusive rights, sole agency agreements, supply agreements. There's a couple of terms that are actually out there. Ultimately, when you get involved with international trade, you want some degree of control. You don't want to find the manufacturer supplying 5 other companies of the same identical product. Otherwise, you're all calling on the same customers. Now, it's not in a manufacturer's interest to supply it, and that's why they want to break up in territories to ensure nationally they got coverage there. But if you're underperforming, you can be sure that the manufacturer will find a way to find another supplier to fill the void if you're just sitting on it because you're playing with 3 or 4 other products there. But what you're trying to negotiate is to ensure that there's a commitment on their part, because you're going to spend money on advertising, maybe traveling, meeting certain buyers to set up accounts for this manufacturer. So these are some of the things that may come up, and you may want to consider writing into the agreement. Most manufacturers have a standard agreement, so in many cases it may not even be negotiable. The first thing is the product. Understand most manufacturers make more than one product. Often when you go through these catalogs, it may be some of the newer products, but some of the best products are the ones that they've been making for the last 10 years, and you're not even aware they make these products there. So try to get a complete catalog of this manufacturer first. And then, because everyone's fighting for the latest product, but the proven ones are the ones that they've been making for the years prior to that really built their success. So some you may have access to, they'll supply to you, but they won't give it to you on an exclusive basis. Other ones, they'll give it to you because no one else wants it. Assignability. No one makes money on selling exclusive rights, but only in North America do I see people selling the rights to other entrepreneurs, and only North American people pay for these rights. So beware, you should never pay for exclusive rights. A manufacturer doesn't make any money. He's not going to give you the rights unless he really believes you're going to take the initiative to go out and sell his product. He's not going to give you the rights only to give you the rights to sign the rights to someone else and then make a fee for selling them. So be careful of that. Relabeling, repackaging. Again, manufacturers, knowing in North America there are additional labeling requirements, barcoding, translations, or what have you, they may accommodate that for you. Often to lower your cost of duty to import a product, if it's a finish. See, the more finished a product is, as it comes into Canada, the more tax and duty you're going to pay. So most importers today, they just import the product in bulk. They'll find a printer, a packager here in Canada, and assemble the final product here in Canada, but they'll pay no duty in many cases by bringing it in bulk or what have you there. Patents and trademarks, I'll talk about that in more detail in the next step here, but it is an area of protection that you need to be aware of. Again, brand name plays a very important part. People will pay 3-4 times more for a brand name product than a no-name product there. So anyone who invents a product probably has a patent on this particular product there. And the question here is, if you introduce it to North America, see, they may have a patent in Germany or what have you, where they've been selling the product for the last 15 years, but now you're trying to open up doors internationally for them. They don't necessarily have a patent here in Canada. So when you bring it to Canada and your competitors see, hey, you're taking over a lot of their customers, they may actually develop a similar product there. And in many cases here, there might be an infringement on the patent. And again, it's your ability to enforce. And the question comes up here, who's responsible for enforcing it? You, because you're the importer, or the manufacturer, because it's really his product that you're representing there. And again, the legal bills can really add up here when it comes to enforcement. Trademarks, I'll come back to that as well. Reporting, again, anytime you deal with a manufacturer, you might have to send them a financial statement once every 6 months, maybe an inventory statement, just to show that you're not discounting or what have you there. Lead time, again, I said earlier, manufacturers look after their local market first. So they're not going to just drop everything because you give them an order for 3 or 4 containers. They're going to say, I'm going to need 30 to 45 days to fill your order. There's going to be another 15 days to ship your product. So plan on 60 days before it even lands in Canada. So again, the lead time is often written in there. Warranties and guarantees, most of the time a manufacturer locally can provide a warranty. Now, if you're importing this product, it might be the onus on you to hire a technician to service any broken products or what have you, stock certain parts to service the product there. So you may be the one responsible if you're going to extend any warranties or guarantees. But often on the first couple orders, the manufacturer will probably throw in 2% excess just to cover, because they know some of the products are going to get damaged when it's shipped. Some products, just even when it gets to the customer, it's already damaged. So just replace it instead of going through stocking all these parts initially. Level of promotion, you're going to probably make a commitment to the manufacturer that you're going to spend X number of dollars to advertise this product to ensure proper exposure for the product or what have you there. If not you, maybe one of your distributors is going to go and take this to a trade show to ensure that it gets exposed there or what have you there. Level of effort, same thing. You're going to make a commitment to him that you're going to make 30 sales calls a week, and you'll provide him a report of who you're calling on or what have you there. Termination disputes, again, this is a binding agreement. If you don't honor the agreement, he'll take the rights from you. Similar, if he doesn't supply to you on time, he'll pay you maybe a lost business fee or what have you there. Payment terms, again, this is developed over time. They're not just going to give you a product on consignment or give you credit terms right away. A lot of times they're going to want a guarantee of payment for the goods to, they'll agree to supply to you, but payment comes first. But within time, he'll soften up and see that you're a good customer. He'll start giving you some credit terms, just like as if you have an account set up locally with suppliers there. On closeouts, again, I get all kinds of product on consignment in many cases because it's just sitting there collecting dust for many people. But I have contacts in different parts of the world who will take the product and they will pay for it, but they're not going to take title to it. So consignment is sometimes negotiable in certain product lines. Pricing, markup, and commissions, again, that's clearly defined. Competing products, chances are he will say you cannot carry competing products. So this is the only product in that range you can. If it's a compatible product, no problem. But if it's a competing one directly of the same product, it's probably written there that you cannot. The term, be realistic if you are negotiating exclusive rights. I have these guys who want exclusive rights for 10 years. They just started their business yesterday. They don't even have one customer yet they want to tie up the product for 10 years. A manufacturer cannot afford to have their product tied up. Now, they're prepared to work with you, give you an opportunity, but at the best, they'll give you initially is a 1-year agreement. Most of the time, it's 3 months or 6 months, and if you don't perform within that period, they withdraw it, or it's on a non-exclusive basis there. Sales target, again, he wants to see a commitment. And I said earlier, if you're going to be an importer, the minimum before you even worth considering is probably look at committing a container loaded product. Anything less than that, the cost is just prohibitive to ship in many cases there. And he won't even take your order serious if you want to be an importer. Now, if you want to be a wholesaler or you want to be an agent, no problem. But I'm the owner of the customer, not you. And then the territory. Again, be realistic with the territory that you negotiate. I have people who want the rights for all of North America. Again, if you can cover Toronto in the first 2 years of your business life, you've done an amazing job. So to negotiate all of Ontario or all of Canada, you'll lose that right just as quick as you secured it. So be realistic. You can put in 2 years, if I achieve $200,000 in sales, I get all of Eastern Canada. And in 5 years, if I achieve $5 million sales, I get all of North America. But be realistic with the territory. If you bite off more than you can chew, you'll lose it just as quick in most cases there. For more information on exclusive rights, ICC, I mentioned earlier, which is International Chamber of Commerce, they have about 30 or 40 different publications on how to write letters of credit on exclusive rights, like I showed you these agreements for NCND. Again, there's a whole directory on shipping terms that ICC puts out. Any major freight forwarder, Danzo, Schenker, what have you, will also have these type of directories available to you. If you don't know, you may just want to start off at the library there. But step number 4 here is an area that will apply to probably 2% of you, the guys who are the creative. You've got these crazy ideas there that you're working on. So there might be some precaution you're going to have to take before you go out and talk to an investor or a manufacturer who really has the capability to knock off your product. So in protection, there are 4 types that you should be aware of: patents, trademarks, copyrights, and industrial designs. Now, patents are the tangible products that you see. You cannot patent an idea. So I got all these people who says, oh yeah, I got this idea, I'll patent it. You cannot patent an idea. It has to be a product that has to be a written description of the actual product there. There are legal ways you can go through, and then there are practical ways. The legal way is just a formality that the government has set up, but at the very end, it's up to you to enforce it. So if some foreign national comes here and knocks off your product, it's up to you to take them to court. And whether you have the resources, it could be very expensive. Even making application could be expensive, but it gives you a legal recourse should you come into that situation, and if it's worth it. Ultimately, I can tell you the best protection is to try to get your product out in the marketplace as quickly as possible. Because the reality of the business world, if it's a hot selling product, everyone and his brother is going to jump on the bandwagon. So it's how quickly you can capture the market. So, but patents, typically it'll cost you about $2,500 to $5,000 to file a patent. Again, what you're looking for here is a patent agent. This is a lawyer who's registered with the patent office. You may have a lawyer, real estate lawyer, I don't know, a divorce lawyer. Somewhere in law school they learned about patents, but chances are they've never gone through the exercise of filing a patent on behalf of an inventor or a business owner there. So what you're looking for is some references. Hopefully he's made at least 3 or 4 applications for other entrepreneurs, so he gains some actual experience dealing with the department. But if they're registered, chances are they have they actually we are recommended to, and they specialize in this area of protection there. But depending on how the product is put together, it will vary minimum from about $2,500 to $5,000. Now, this only protects you in Canada, understand. And if you want protection in the United States, because 2 years down the road you're going to open up the market in the States, you do not have protection in the States, although there is sort of a 2-year window that will give you limited protection in the U.S., even though you're not registered there. So understand, if you have goals of selling this internationally, you sort of fall into this domino effect. Even in Western countries, let's say Europe and the Far East, you could easily be in 5 or 10 countries once you start this exercise in Canada. And if it costs you $2,500 in Canada, times that by 10, now you spend $25,000. You haven't even manufactured your first product yet. So think of the long-term effect of this as well once you make a decision to patent your product. And then it does give you between 15 to 20 years of protection. But I can tell you, in the real world, it only takes some minor changes to a product that offers the same benefits. But in the eyes of the law and the courts, it's a whole different product. So be aware of that. Unless it's really unique and it's difficult to knock off because of the application of the process, again, don't waste a whole lot of time in this area. Trademarks, again, refer to that often as brand names. Now, a lot of people I get who initially starting out and go and register a business, and they think just because they register the business, they even done a name search and saw that there was no name out there, so they feel they're entitled to use that name. Again, in the law, in the eyes of the courts and everything else, it's whoever spends money on protecting that name. The one way to protect a company name or a product name is by registering a trademark. Now, a trademark gives you legal protection to that name and to that product there. But also understand that just because someone else has the same name of your company, but you're selling software and another company is selling plastics or what have you there, this in no way does it gives you that protection to that name exclusively. So be aware of that a lot. But now, if it's the same industry, same product, there could be some conflict. As I actually was reading in the newspaper today, I used Fanarola as my long-distance provider. They're opening up shop in the United States, but they're being and Fanarola is a big company in Canada, but they have been asked to change their name in the United States because Fanarola, there's always something bigger than you, and they got more deeper pockets. So Fanarola is just not going to worth fighting.